Hey everybody, what is going on? Let's talk about Disneyland's Tomorrowland, okay? Now, there's been a lot of activity. There's been a slew of activity in Tomorrowland lately. Most notably in the entryway. All those French fry rocks are getting removed, including the Tomorrowland signage that used to sit on top of some of those rocks. Okay, on top of that, they're working on some I don't even know what they're doing, but over there by Path of the Jedi and the Space Mountain exit area, they're doing a lot of work over there. They're also working on the facades at the entry of Tomorrowland where the People Mover would enter the buildings. So there's a lot of work going on, and of course fans are all jumping on this as like, oh, this means that there's a new Tomorrowland coming. There's a new Tomorrowland coming. Now, I want to believe that too. I really, really do. But look, we've been down this road like for 15 or 20 years now. Every time an executive or a maintenance worker ever walks on the People Mover track, there's a slew of rumors online that this is a sign we're getting a new Tomorrowland. Finally, a new Tomorrowland, right? This has happened over and over and over and over and over again throughout the years. So I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but I do think all these signs are very, very promising. Okay, I really do, especially the removal of the rock work at the entry of the land, because what that does is it forces Disney now to give us a new Tomorrowland sign. The Tomorrowland sign that we had depended on the rock work. It sat on top of that rock work, right? So we will get a new sign. Now, it'll be very interesting to see the style of that sign, because I think whatever the style and the design and the look of it, the aesthetics, I think will give us a good indication as to what direction they're going to go in with our Tomorrowland. Now, I really hope that we get the same sign or something very similar to that of the Magic Kingdom over in Florida. Okay, that signage, the new signs that they got over there in Florida is absolutely breathtaking. I love it. It's retro, it's sleek. It really reminds me of like a cross between like the 1960s Disneyland's Tomorrowland and like something that Apple would create. It's just gorgeous. So I hope we get something similar to that. Okay, I think that would be very, very cool. But it's anyone's guess. You know, it's like, here's the thing with these Tomorrowland speculation videos and just talking about Tomorrowland, I just feel like every time something happens in Tomorrowland, we all get our hopes up and then they're crushed, right? So I don't want to get too excited quite yet, because you never know. And I still believe, and I've said this in many videos in the past, I still believe that the Fantasyland expansion is more of a priority for Disney than Tomorrowland. And I'll repeat it because I know everyone hasn't seen all my videos, but my justification for that is, since Star Wars has its own land, since Marvel is getting its own land, there's not a lot of big power play IP that Disney can throw into Tomorrowland. And I know everyone's going to comment with, Wall-E and Big Hero 6, and, I know, but these are not franchises that are on the same level as Marvel or Star Wars, okay? They're also not on the same level as the Disney Princesses or Frozen, which, if they did a Fantasyland expansion, that is the IP they would be using. Okay, that's why I really do believe a Fantasyland expansion is much more of a priority for Disney. It's the IP. It's the IP. The Princesses, Frozen, especially with the new movie coming out, Frozen 2, there's much more of a incentive for Disney to go that route right now, as opposed to Tomorrowland, where what could they use? They could use, I guess they can bring Tron if they could fit the coaster in there, but Tron, it's a popular ride, but the IP isn't that hot. And Big Hero 6 and Wall-E, they're just not that big of IP. Not compared to Frozen, not compared to the Princesses. So that's why I'm still doubtful that a new Tomorrowland is coming soon. I still kind of feel like Fantasyland is the priority for them because of that IP. But we will see. There's a lot of activity, and a lot of activity that's very suspicious. That work that they're doing in front, with the facades where the People Mover goes into the buildings, there's been a lot of word that the reason why they're working on those facades is because they're trying to remove all the people mover tracks inside the buildings, right? Because that's the point of entry for both tracks to enter the building. So that's interesting. If they're removing those tracks inside those buildings, that's a huge sign that they are definitely prepping. They're definitely doing some prep work for some new, like a new Tomorrowland. That would be a huge indicator, huge, massive. Now we don't know if that's the case. We don't know. For all we know, they could just be repainting those facades. I don't know. But if they are, if those tarps are up to remove the tracks inside those buildings, we're getting a new Tomorrowland. I mean, that's what they're doing. They're prepping for sure. But what do you guys think about all this stuff going on over in the back of Tomorrowland by the Space Mountain exit, the front of the land with the French fry rocks being removed and the signage and the facade work over by the people mover tracks? What are your thoughts on all this? Like I said before, we've been down this road, we've gotten our hopes up so many times and nothing has become of it. Is this finally the time? Are we finally getting a new Tomorrowland? We will see. What are your thoughts? Comment below. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And as always, have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.